How would you like to own your own professional business at a very young age? Picture yourself working with Fortune 500 companies while still trying to balance your high school schedule. How about dedicating yourself to learning the skills and knowledge to do something you've never done before? Today's guest will tell you all about her experiences of becoming a graphic designer.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of Person to Person. Today our guest is a person who found their success early on in life. She learned hands-on what it is like to own a business by herself. We'd like you to meet today's guest, Elizabeth Blum. Hi Elizabeth, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks.
So I understand your family had a large influence on you and they inspired you to be in this field, and that you started at a rather young age. Can you please tell us a little bit about how it all began for you?
They did have a big influence on me getting into the marketing industry. I started probably in the beginning year of high school, getting involved. My dad owns a point of purchase company, and I spent a lot of time around that. My aunt has been in graphic design for many years and got me involved with her, helping her out in the summer and after school, and I really, really enjoyed doing it. So I was hooked.
Now, eventually, you decided to become the owner of MB Designs. Did you find it more challenging to take on an independent role for this company?
It is challenging. It's, there's more responsibility. It's not only doing the artwork and talking with the clients. You have the salesman hat on, you have the artist hat on, sometimes you have the courier hat on, human resources, secretary. You're wearing many different hats. So all the responsibility lies on your shoulders. You have to, lay out what you're doing that day, make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, continue to get the business, be the front line of the company. And it is challenging. Some days I do want to just be behind the scenes and do my artwork, and some days I'm ready to go out there and sell.
But you were only 15 when you started. Tell us about how it was for you. I mean, did companies look at you differently for only a 15-year-old?
The challenge was definitely there in the beginning, because I was working with these big name companies, and sitting across the table from the CEO of a company, looking at a 15-year-old saying, wait a minute, I'm spending $100,000 on you doing what? I'm not sure. But eventually the trust was definitely built. I produced what they were looking for, so we made our relationship, and it's worked out fine.
Now, we just saw that you have done a business with Fortune 500 companies such as GE, Remington, even Kraft. Tell us what it was like to have high expectations from these such large companies at a young age while you're trying to balance schoolwork and being the owner of a graphic design company. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think that the biggest challenge when I was in school trying to balance both was actually keeping myself in school. It was very exciting and new for me, and I wanted to spend all my time doing it, whether it was talking to the client, delivering the product, working as hard as I could to get the results that that my clients are looking for. It was very difficult to stay focused on my schoolwork during the day and go do this after school. But I was definitely very driven, and I got through it. I had to do what I had to do, but stay focused on the graphic design as well.
Now,
when I started MB Designs, we were doing everything by hand. I came out of school, the graphic design degree, and it entailed typesetting. You didn't just pick your fonts off the computer. You had to actually spec type and then get your manuscript and send it out to a type bureau that would then send you back for a fee your copy in whatever font and size you needed, and then you had to paste that down with glue or rubber cement or wax on a board. And pictures, you had to use pictures for position. You had to go into a stat camera. None of this was done the way it is today with the computer and the speed and the flexibility that you have on a computer. When you wanted to make a color change, you had to re-render in marker. You had to redraw the whole concept in a new color. And you spent hours and hours showing different color versions. Now, today with the computer, you just press a button, click on a box, and you can change colors, you can change hues.
So with all the combined experience that you and your partner, Marianne, have together in the industry, I'm sure you've seen a lot of advances technologically in this field. Tell us a little bit about what it was like for you when you first started in the company.
When I started, it was a great time to get in the industry because it was just the turning of getting rid of the markers and doing everything by hand, and the computer came in. And doing these products on the computer, I was learning as everyone else was learning in these advertising agencies. So I wasn't at a disadvantage. Being a small owned business, you've got to keep up with these big advertising agencies. In the beginning, the software was very basic, and it wasn't as advanced as it is today with all the features included. So I learned along with everyone else who was learning it.
So now that we've heard about what is like in the beginning of your career in this industry, tell us where you think this industry will be in maybe the next 4 or 5 years.
It's very exciting. One thing about this industry is it can't be too creative. It can't be too exciting, over the top. A lot of young minds come into it, creative people. The more that technology advances, the more creative we can be. So it's a very exciting place to be. It really is.
Now, I know getting your design on the shelf is not an overnight thing, and it takes a long time, and it's a long process. Can you please walk us through what it's like, maybe in an example project that you've done?
Mm-hmm. When the client calls and they have a new package to launch, they'll give me the basics, the rundown of what their expectations are, the guidelines, corporate rules, and I'll come up with some concepts, many concepts. Sometimes there's rounds and rounds of concepts until we hit the nail on the head, and go with a few of them, refine those down a bit until we get it right. It doesn't have to be, sometimes when I'm doing a package, it's not what I think looks good. It's, what demographic this package is trying to consume. Right. The rules and regulations of that company, they have specific guidelines they have to follow too, which I have to incorporate into a vision that they have of what they think that the package should look like. So we'll go through a couple rounds, come up with a couple mock packages, and from there, produce them. I'll oversee the production end of it, and hopefully everybody's happy.
Now, what goals do you have set for yourself, if any, as you intend to incorporate new businesses to your portfolio?
I always welcome new business. And hopefully, I'll continue on as strong of a path as I have so far. But no matter where I go, what I do from here on, I've obtained a lot of great relationships and clients. The skills and knowledge that I've also obtained is something that I can put into anything that I do. So.
With MB Designs, mainly because of their quick turnaround, their flexibility. They do great designs. They take me from concept to production to the in-store point of purchase display with no hassles. Like I said, quick turnaround, and they do a great job for me. I don't have to worry about anything. I know that my deadlines are going to be kept, and I know that I'm going to be getting quality service.
Thank you for joining us today. Elizabeth, we appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Today we got to meet someone who has worked hard to pave her own way to own a business. With a very impressive portfolio, she has obtained a variety of clientele and accomplishments at such an adolescent age. Always remember, no matter what age you are, with focus and dedication, you can do anything you put your mind into. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great day. Yep.
Good job, guys. That was great.